Secondary sources, and also what makes an academic source, right? A scholarly source. Now we can start thinking about how we're going to set ourselves up to have the most successful searching once we use the library database and once we start actually putting in our search terms. And so the place we have to start for this is kind of back at the beginning of our major project sequence. That's why I have you guys write the topic proposal before you actually start your research. So it seems a little bit weird, I think, at first, because sometimes you want to just start looking stuff up. And this isn't like a process that starts just with knowing what your sources is or just with knowing what you want your topic to be. It's sort of like relates to each other, right? And you have to go back and forth between thinking about the big picture questions in your topic and the sort of specifics of what you're using in your research, right? And so we always want to go back and forth between our sources and these sort of questions that we're describing and outlining in our topic proposals, okay? And so that's why I have you guys do this first, right? Because with your topic proposal, you're basically already asking your research questions, right? You're trying to describe to your readers what you want your questions to be that you're hoping to answer through your research, right? You're using those lines of inquiry that we talked about in chapter 11 of the textbook, and you're explaining why you're interested in pursuing these, right, for your major project. And so you're already sort of talking about the stakes of your project before you're even starting your research, okay? So let's assume that you've already done your topic proposals, right? These are all submitted. And so what I want you to do is I want you to pull those up, okay? And so the first thing that we need to do is we need to sort of look for what those basic topics were and what the research questions are that you came up with that sort of go with those topics. And so I just kind of wrote up this sample topic. This has to do with one of the sample topics that I listed in the Jesmond Ward sample source journal entry page. And so the one that I just picked for us to sort of talk about in this workshop is the question of how gender and power and motherhood come to play in Jesmond Ward's Salvage the Bones. And so we've got our primary text here, right? It's Salvage the Bones, written by Jesmond Ward, and we're interested in the way that gender and power and motherhood all work. So let's keep looking here. We've got our research questions, right? I just wrote these up based on what would maybe go in a sample topic proposal for something like this. So one of those questions is, why does Esh look to China and Medea as mother figures that help make sense of her own pregnancy and eventual motherhood, right? And then maybe another one, how does the memory of Esh's mother shape her relationship to the members of her family and also to her unborn child? And so we can look at these research questions and we can actually start searching for key terms in just the most basic of a topic proposal, right? And so that's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to your topic proposal and I want you to start picking out the keywords that you think might be useful to put into the search function of the database, okay? So some obvious ones right at the beginning: salvage the bones. That's something we can totally add to our search terms, right? So let's just write our search terms here. Salvage the bones, right? We could also just put Jesmond Ward, right? The author's a great thing to start searching for. We might write motherhood, right? Motherhood or mothers, right? And you want to always try words in a sort of singular and a plural when you're using a library database, because we're used to using Google, which is sort of, it's a really smart algorithm, and the database for like a library site or an academic journal site is not going to be as advanced. And so we got to be flexible with how we word our terms, right? So this gives us several options here. Let's go back and look. Let's see. Gender. So let me turn this off. Sorry, guys. I'm going to lock that real quick. 1 second. Notifications. Do not disturb from... Sorry about this, guys. Okay. Great, so we won't be interrupted anymore. Okay, back to the search term. So motherhood and mothers. We can go back here. We could say gender, right? We might also say women, too. We might say gender or women, right? Because we're thinking about Esh here, right? And and the various mother figures as well, right? We've got China, we've got the memory of Mama, we have the grandmother, right? In a couple of short things. We even have Katrina, right? If you guys have made it to the end of the novel, we've got all of these various mother figures, right? Oh, Medea, duh, Medea. Okay, so this gives us just a few search terms to start with. We might also put something in here like memory. And I was thinking, since a lot of these have to do with pregnancy and motherhood, what about just pregnancy or bodies, right? And we're thinking about Esh's body here, right? Okay, so we've got a few search terms here, and so basically then what we're going to do is we're going to use these search terms and variations on the questions to help us know what we're going to put into the actual database. Okay, so if you go to the next video, I'll explain where some good databases are for you to start doing your searches and how you would actually work with that in the library site. So go ahead and go to the next video to see how we're going to use the search terms and the research questions.